All right, guys, welcome to another VC. We try to have these as often as we can. The team has been working very hard on KDArena and various other things. But today, Josh will be leading this one. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Josh.
Hey, thanks, Roger. How's it going?
It's going good, man. Going good.
How's the weather in Texas now?
Starting to become hot, but not quite.
Summer
yet.
is coming. Yeah.
Summer is coming.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming aboard. So I'm not turning on my camera because it's been a long Monday and I'm still out. I'm not back yet. So I'm just gonna do a voice AMA today. We've got quite a few things, but I'm still gonna keep it sort of short and casual. And I think it's been a while since our last one. So maybe perhaps there'll be a few more questions from the community. So I'm gonna give a bit of space there. Just shared the agenda, so we'll be talking a bit about what's happening in the whole DeFi space for JEDSTAR, so what we're doing with the staking contracts and the staking programs that we're launching. We are also going to talk about some of the SFTs that we're going to come up with, which is going to be the new PFPs. They're pretty cool. We've got 3 characters now, and then we sort of segue from there to sort of a bit the updates that we're working on with Agora and Silvolt. I know some of you guys have been testing the poker as well. We've been doing a small beta testing to make sure that everything's okay before we launch. And then finally, we're going to talk a bit about KDArena. I'm just going to give like sort of a general overview of where we're at with KDArena, and then we'll have Terry on sort of come in and sort of chime in, as he has been working really hard and has been doing some crazy cool stuff with it, obviously together with Ryan from the UI UX side, and sort of let Terry talk about it before we close it off and have some questions. So without further ado, let me sort of just jump in. So we've been sharing the past few weeks the updates that we sort of been seeing on the white paper. So I'm not so sure if everybody has had time to read. I know, guys, it's a huge wall of text right now. I've just reshared the link back in on the chat. We are finalizing a few things, so we've sort of put it out there. That's like 99%, just to give you guys an idea of what's to expect and to come up. But also, why we're putting it out there, even though it's not 100%, it's because it would be good to get some feedback or even ideas or suggestions from you guys as well, based on what you see that we're sharing. Once we sort of finalize it, we're going to come up with all the different graphics and graphs to sort of really help you visualize what we are trying to share. So if we sort of jump into it, we can see there's quite a few additions. So specifically, if we don't include the star staking that they're gonna work on with Arcus, I'm gonna step away from that for a while because Arcus is making some changes to their tokenomics. So we will be making some changes there. I'm gonna talk about the 3 others, which is, well, there's 4 others when we include the liquidity program that we're supposed to do with the team from Hatchworks / Scale Gaming. So the liquidity program as well, the Scale Gaming team are sort of tweaking in on their end. They're finalizing their first platform, which is the Phoenix platform. I'm sure some of you guys have seen it on social media. Once they sort of get that up and running fully and sorted out, then we'll start working on the JEDSTAR version of it. But now just to talk about the staking programs from JEDSTAR. So we have the first one which is what we call, obviously in the theme of space, the WarpDraw, which is pretty interesting. What it is, it's sort of, we do have standard DeFi and staking components to it, which provides pretty sustainable and good passive income in some sense. Nothing compared to during the DeFi season, but still good enough, I believe. It's between 4 to 8%, depending on how much you stake. The thing is, in addition to that, those who are staking within the WarpDraw program are able to purchase lottery tickets. So now these lottery tickets have different prices, And with this different prices, they come with different prizes. So the lowest price coming, the lowest price coming in at $2 USD, and they'll be able to win. They're able to win a certain amount of USD and cred from there. We are still sort of finalizing what are the prizes, especially for the fourth round, as it's the smallest prize pool, and we sort of want to add some gaming element to it. But we sort of know already from the first and the third prize, you'll be able to win between 2,000 to 10,000 USD. And when I'm talking about USD, it's going to be in stable coins. We've not finalized whether it's going to be USDT or USDC, or even DAI. We're considering all three options. And with that, we'll have also the equivalent, and we're talking about the equivalent at that time of at the time of staking of cred in that same amount. So now it's pretty cool because it's really giving you opportunities to sort of win not just our token but also USDT as well. Obviously, we've sort of to come up with these price numbers, we've really looked at we've looked at quite a few things. So one is obviously our own data. So we've looked at sort of the number of holders, how much they're holding, but we also look at it's not considered sleuthing. It's basically data gathering. We've been looking at like wallet transactions, etc., in order to really understand how much people are willing sort of to spend and how often they spend. So that's how we sort of determine what should be our ticket prices, but also what should be the price sizes, so that we don't sort of destroy the ecosystem with the rewards, but two, to be able to sort of really be able to reward the people purchasing the tickets as well. So we're actually working with an oracle, so the ones that we've been working with before at Chainlink, to sort of determine the winning numbers. So everything is transparent and going to be on the blockchain. We've basically worked in terms of odds. We are following the same odds as the lottery. So obviously, the first prize, which is when we start at 10,000 USD, seemed like a lot of money, but basically your chances of winning it is pretty much the same chance as winning the lottery. Now, if one of the questions that might be asked is like, what happens if nobody wins? Basically, just like any lottery, it just rolls over to the next. The pot just gets bigger and it rolls over to the next lottery draw. So that's pretty much it in terms of high-level overview of what's the WarpDraw. Next is it's a pretty interesting one as well. I kind of like it. It's the Galactic Raffle. I know I've sort of talked to you guys a bit, but it's been a while, a bit about these. It's been a while since we spoke, so I'm just sort of giving you guys a sort of refresher before we jump into BetForge, which is later. So the Galactic Raffle is, for me, I just thought, well, we all love our tokens, but some of us, and if not all of us, love our NFTs as well. And I felt that this is a good opportunity for us to sort of come together and pool to try to earn a chip NFT. So basically, pretty much similar to WarpDraw, it's a staking program still. That's sort of the foundation of it, where you stake a certain amount of JED and then win between 4 to 8% of yield, depending on the amount that you stake. Compared to the first season, this I did not sort of mention, compared to the first season for WarpDraw and the Galactic Raffle, the 4 to 8% is going to be variable and not fixed. It's going to be dependent on a few things, which is like the TVA and basically how much has been staked, and also the price and transactional volume of JED and cred. Everything will be sort of calculated on the back, and you would sort of be live as I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with how most DeFi sort of platform works. It's pretty much similar to that. So for the Galactic Raffle, we will sort of choose an NFT and we will vote for it through the staking platform itself, through the Galactic Raffle platform itself. We will vote for it. The team will actually choose a series on NFTs, and then we'll ask you guys to sort of vote for it. And then with the pool that we sort of come up with, so everybody would be able to sort of give, whether it's $1, $10, $100, or $1,000. The pool, we sort of grow up a pool, and with that pool, we will bid for an NFT, either on OpenSea or any other NFT marketplace that would have some NFTs that we think would be of value or that's popular there. And then with that, we will do pretty similar to sort of the WarpDraw. We would use the Oracle chain link to sort of choose one winner. The winner will be defined based on 3 criteria. So basically, the more you provide to the pool, the more chances you have to win, etc., and all that, plus other factors that we would share later as we sort of finalize the tokenomics and update the white paper. But basically, pretty straightforward. The more the more you provide to the pool, the more chances you have to sort of win that blue chip NFT. And that is if we obviously win the bid, because most of the time we'll be trying to bid for these NFTs unless we decide to choose to straight away purchase one. But I think bidding would be much more fun. If we don't win the bid for the NFT, then this pool would sort of roll over to the next bid the week after. So that's going to be pretty cool as well. Now, finally, the last one, which is actually my favorite right now, but it's not the easiest. I'm spending quite a lot of time right now working with AI modeling and machine learning modeling. So it's basically called the BetForge. We have seen sort of resurgence the past few weeks, even though it was probably a short one of meme tokens coming up. We basically want to do something similar, and it's going to be pretty exciting if it picks up again, especially is basically our model would select either trending tokens or new tokens that come up. Most of this information we'll get it from either CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, trending tokens or new tokens. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to put them on what we call the BetForge. And with that, we're going to basically ask you guys who are staking to sort of bet whether you think the price would, from that moment on, either go up or go down. There's going to be various odds. So the odds are going to be calculated based on a few things. So one is like how popular that token is. Basically, our machine learning program is going to take quite a few data points that's available online, like social sentiment, how do people feel in general about it, as well as if it's not a new token, but a trending token, its past history, etc., and all that. And you'll be able to bet and win a certain amount of cred based on what you've bet on. So that's going to be, I feel, quite fun. We're actually looking to add an additional element to it, but that's probably going to be the sort of season 2 of BetForge to actually even invest and win the token that we're sort of betting for or against. So it's I think this is going to be quite fun. Right now we're working on the smart contracts, so it's going to take a bit of time. A few things as well before we sort of launch these programs, besides having to work on the UI UX, is that we are pretty much focused on sort of finalizing what's happening with KDArena and sort of ramping up our marketing there. So a lot of our team in June and July is going to be focused on that, while I'll be focused on finalizing the smart contracts. And then after that, we will sort of work on the upgrade on the Star Staking platform with these new programs. So that's sort of it for Star Staking and our staking programs. Now I'm just going to talk a bit about the PFPs, which is pretty cool. So some of you guys might know or heard of John, who has worked on our Genesis mint together with Terry, who is a really awesome artist. Have sort of finished 3 characters for PFPs, which I feel it's a lot, because looking at the variables for per character, there's about more than 500,000, I think even close to 1 million sort of variables for each character. So we're talking about a lot of PFPs there. Some would have like 0.001% chance of having certain items on them. So it's going to be really interesting to see who's going to have the rare ones. I purposely put pineapple to be among the rarest, so that I don't get to see it very often. But basically, these rarities are not just only going to impact potential prices, but they will also have various utilities. Obviously, coming up with once most of our platforms come up from the beta program, we are going to sort of be able to include not just the Genesis mint, but the PFPs as well. It's going to be pretty cool because the PFPs, one, for our community, most of our community members, well, actually all our community members will be able to mint a certain amount of PFPs. This amount is going to be based on a few things. This amount will be based on a few things, such as how much you're holding, how long you've been holding, what you've purchased with us, whether it's Genesis mint or pre-sale, etc. and all that. So that's going to determine about how many mints that you're going to have. So most of the community, all of our community members will be able to mint at least 3 or 4 PFPs for free. And then the rest would be at least the floor price would be at a very low price. We're looking at single-digit US dollars because we want it to be really affordable. These PFPs will also be available to sign-ups from gamers to KDArena, Silver Vault, etc. and all that. So it'll be really, really cool to start seeing these PFPs sort of all over the whole gaming space, but also social media spaces, because you'll be able to sort of connect them to your Twitter account and other social medias that sort of let you connect NFTs to be your PFPs. So that's sort of going to be quite fun. And since we are talking about SFTs and NFTs, Agora is sort of in its final stage of upgrade. I believe it should be like within a week and a half. It's sort of finished right now, but we're sort of putting it out in stages because we are rolling out quite a few things at the same time. A week and a half from now, you'll be able to purchase the Genesis mint, the OG mint on Agora with cred on Polygon. That's one. 2, we're going to also launch an update where you'll be able to not just sell on Agora, on OpenSea, but you can sell on Agora itself. So it's sort of transforming into becoming a full-fledged marketplace. You'll be able to also, with that upgrade, upload other NFTs that you want to sell there. And we will have an INO sort of launch pad there, basically an initial NFT offering, where projects that we partner with would be able to sort of have an NFT raise through us. Obviously, you would need to purchase the NFTs with cred, or if not, a stable token that we will sort of give access to, just like the current Agora. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to leave time for questions, and Desiree is going to sort of discuss KDArena just for a while. Oh yes, I forgot. There's also Silver Vault. Some of you guys have been testing the poker. I'm pretty excited for it, actually, to see us sort of start losing our vaults, diamonds, and potentially cred on poker. So that's going to be fun. Currently, I think there's about 20-something beta players. I think besides a few tweaks like changing the background music, which for those who are testing know how terrible it is. We are pretty much there, and with it, obviously, that's the whole. So we're going to launch the sort of public version of the poker, followed by cred, lottery, and also the roulette on Silver Vault. But that would be similar to the poker, out in beta testing first, and once everything is sort of okay, we're going to sort of launch it out to the general public and to our community. All right, that's pretty much it. I'll just check if Terry is on, and then yes, I think he's on, and then he can sort of start giving the updates. Maybe just to sort of, before he starts going on the technical part and the technical updates, just to give you guys some sort of updates on KDArena itself. We've had really good progress. If you guys are following, we've sort of grown our community to sort of, now I think it's 2.3 mil. We have soft launch our pre-registration form to this community within a few hours. I think now we've got like 2,000 signups, but we're going to limit it to 3,000 signups and let them have access by batches, because obviously it's it's a new platform, and we sort of want to have slow release. But what's really interesting, before going all out in public, but what's really interesting is sort of the games that we sort of partnering with. One is Alaskan Gold Rush, which is a PC game. Another one, which is War of Eden. I'll show you guys the links for both. Those are both games made with from AAA studios, both of them. So that's going to be pretty interesting and cool to see. And obviously, we have also a whole list of other projects from smaller gaming studios. Some you've seen already, which is going to be like Arcus, for example. We're also speaking with the Work Me team. They're pretty keen to sort of jump on board the KDArena wagon as well when they're launching their beta in June, July. So it's going to be pretty fun. And it's I believe it's going to be a pretty exciting and successful launch, and especially with what Terry is doing and all KDArena signups being able to have their first wallet right from the get-go. We would start seeing the number of credit holders jump up pretty significantly the moment we start launching, and hopefully start seeing the transactions once we start implementing our marketplace and so forth within it as well. That's pretty much for it. I'll sort of pass on to Terry. Terry here.
Yeah, I'm here. How's everyone doing?
All right. Hey.
All right.
Well,
so
Terry.
Great. Thanks. Thanks for the updates. And I guess we'll have Q&A for everything that Josh talked about, as well as KDArena after this. So just wanted to give you an update. I kind of hinted in Telegram chat some pictures of what things are going on. So the plan currently is this. I have some exciting news. As Josh mentioned, we have implemented a way to, as soon as you register, the system will go ahead and create a KDA wallet address, which will be based on an ERC20 protocol. Obviously, that'll allow anything on the ERC20 Ethereum network. So Ethereum and most importantly, the layer 2s, which we're using, Polygon or Matic, as well as others such as future integration with Shibarium and so forth. So the cool thing is that it gets automatically generated. So you'll have a KDA wallet address, and we talked about potentially having a kind of like a promotion. So like the first so many registrations or the pre-registrations. If you pre-registered directly onto the site, you'll get some cred. So obviously that'll exponentially increase, as Josh mentioned, the actual holders of cred on the blockchain. So that'll look great for our project. The other thing that's really cool is the fact that initially it's only going to let you see your address, and then you'll be able to take your address and view everything on the blockchain. That's the key, right? Transparency. So once you have your wallet address, you'll be able to see the whatever transactions in the blockchain. You don't have to worry about because there's other products out there that are doing things kind of internally where they have their own, not even blockchain token. It's just a representation of a token. And then I have still yet to see them figure out how to convert their own in-app token, not a blockchain token, but their own in-app token, and convert it to an on-chain token that you can then go ahead and use outside the ecosystem. But we're basically going to try to start right from the get-go using the blockchain as blockchains are supposed to be used. We have a mechanism so that you can view your private key, so that you can go ahead once you access your private key. We're still working on security, but we are using a multi-factor authentication system where you'll get emailed a code in order to see it. We're going to have tons of warnings because once you have your private key, it lets you, the key to everything. You can import it into another wallet. If someone were to get it, then they have access to it. But part of the reason we are implementing the ability to view your private key is to show that you are the owner of your KDA wallet. Now, obviously, due to regulations, that's been a little tough. I know Matt Cab and a few in our community are in Canada. There's some weird stuff going there, as well as the United States. I think Binance is pulling out of Canada for now. So obviously what we need to do is, before you can access your private key, we'll have to have a KYC mechanism, as well as following different regulations in other countries where they view anything that you do and you win something considered basically gambling. It's really interesting how the laws are written. So even in the United States, a raffle is technically gambling because you're winning something. So we have to implement that. So depending on where your locale, we have to account for all of those things. So that's the cool, exciting thing about the KDA wallet. Not only that, this week I was able to integrate MetaMask into KDArena. So you're able to go ahead and connect MetaMask and see your different balances. We're obviously using for now Polygon. So once we have the pre-registration to actual KDArena itself, you'll be able to test it out, see your balances of Matic and Cred, and then you can go ahead and switch through your different accounts. Just a little bit of information with the pre-registration. What we're planning on doing is, instead of waiting for the entire platform to be built, because it's a pretty daunting task, what we're going to do is allow you to go ahead and start putting your profiles in, connect your wallet, see your actual KDA wallet. If you want to test it out and send one Matic to your KDA wallet address, you'll be able to do all of that. You'll put your account details in, you'll be able to change your profile picture. And right now, we're just using the square. It's accepting any image. We'll eventually implement our sorry, I'm coughing a little bit. We'll be able to integrate our PFPs and SFPs, and you'll be able to put that as your profile picture as well. And then other profile details, if you want, you can put your Twitter, Discord, Facebook in there. But the most exciting thing that we want to have before even for the pre-registration is giving you the ability to go ahead and pre-create your teams. So certain games are going to require teams to play. So if you go ahead and create your team, you're obviously the team leader, but you'll be able to invite and pre-create teams. So how we're doing it is, sometimes some teams will be 3v3, 5v5, instead of having to create sets initially, what we're going to do is, you're going to be able to go ahead and invite 10 people to your team. You can invite as many, but your roster is going to be 10, and basically that order, the system is going to take that order 1 through 10 and automatically put them in for you when you go ahead and join a tournament. So if it's a 3v3, it'll pre-populate the top 3 in your roster under your My Teams section. But all it's doing is pre-populating it. If you want to adjust, then you can go ahead and change it per tournament. So we want to have that in there. And the ultimate goal for KDArena isn't just about tournaments, but it's also about taking statistics and gameplay, wins, losses, and the statistics, and being able to match people and almost become its own little social media platform, and where people can go ahead and discuss things. Now that's that's a bigger project, but that's ultimately the goal for KDArena, is not only for it to be tournaments, but to aggregate gameplay information, and depending on how well you do, have bragging rights, but more importantly, being able to approach gaming or gaming related products and services and get them as sponsors. So they might be able to say, Josh is really good at League of Legends, and there's a lot of people following him, and anytime he plays in a tournament, there's so many people watching. There might be opportunities to broker sponsorship deals. So maybe and that would be a profit split. And let's say Razer says, hey, we want to sponsor your top 10 League of Legends players. Then we can design a custom badge that'll show up on your on your profile pic, just like in LinkedIn. You know how they have the little badges around your icon that says hiring or looking for job or something like that. There's a lot of options there. So we're pretty close to being able to allow people. So right now, the only thing that we're working on now is the My Teams functionality. We got the wallet, the KDA wallet working. We got the MetaMask integration. I know many people use Trust Wallet, so that's the next wallet we're going to work on. They have a DApp, so that makes it a little bit easier. But on we have to test out the new extension. I know there were some articles about Trust. I think Ryan posted it, but there were some exploits in the Trust Wallet or Wallet Connect where people were able to exploit something and basically take tokens out. So security is really important for us, and we'll test it out on the test net. We'll ask a few of you in the community to test it out and make sure no one can exploit or take anything or try to hack it. But that's kind of where we're at right now. And Ryan's been really busy with giving design, and this week I'll start putting some more screen grabs, and we'll work with the community to get some instructions out on how to use and connect the wallet aspects of it. But I'll let Josh talk about the KYC procedures when the time comes, but we definitely have to go through that because there's age restrictions and a lot of regulations from there. And I'd love to hear from the community as well, any kind of information you've heard in your various countries. But as you heard over the weekend, there's some interesting things going on in the U.S. and Canada, and we have an election year coming up next year, so we'll see where things land as far as crypto is concerned. But if you have any questions about KDArena, feel free to chime your questions out, or any questions, I guess, at this point for this AMA. But I don't want to ramble on too much, but always appreciate everyone's support, and you can always reach out to me if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Terry. I think the moral of the story is, if you guys want to monetize your gaming, add Josh to your team. I think that's pretty much to summarize what Terry just said. No, just kidding. So, but basically, yeah, KDArena is going to be really something huge for us. So I'll touch on a bit about the KYC later. But what really KDArena is one is a tournament platform, but it's really, I think, what we are doing with, especially with our 2 million gamers, is we are going to start building a tribe that we are going to slowly integrate into the whole Web3 world, and really sort of redefine what play to earn means. So it's not those unsustainable tokenomics of play to earn where I just play and earn tokens and dump them. No, so this is actually generating revenue from cred, but it's not revenue that ourselves, the company or the project, that's giving away to people. It's basically organizations sponsoring, whether it's organizations or whether it's games themselves sponsoring these rewards, this passive income or side income. And it's pretty interesting in a ways, as Terry mentioned, the opportunity that you can really have to sort of generate revenue, not just from winning tournaments, but also from, depending on how well you do, not just from a gaming result, but also from a social interaction result, to be sponsored by brands. Now, what's really cool as well, it's as Terry said, you can be a team captain and define your captain, and define what's your team roster. But also, you could be somebody who, for example, does not play Mobile Legends, but you see really potential players in Mobile Legends, and you want them in your team, and you'll be able to broker a deal with them and with yourself and your team and Razer, for example, and you can just have your team playing, and you can yourself be generating additional income. You're there. Basically, it's owning your own esports team. So that's, I think, a really huge opportunity, not just for gamers to sort of earn, but also for people who like sort of want to go into the whole esports scene, which we know, well, it's really getting huge traction. Everybody's trying to figure out what is the revenue model to really generate from it. We are trying our own way, and we believe there's sort of a space for us to really thrive and get brands not only to be able to simply advertise and spam consumers, but also really engage with them at a grassroots level and working with us to really sort of grow their own community through our community. And it's sort of a win-win situation there for gamers, for both gamers and brands. So it's I feel KDArena, it's pretty exciting in terms of what we're doing, and it will really bring a lot of value to Cred as a token, and obviously with that, with JED as well being the DeFi token of the ecosystem. In terms of the games, it's as you guys know, you can organize any kind of tournament, so it's pretty interesting. I mean, if you guys want, and obviously we can bring it back to whatever we have with JEDSTAR. You can even have poker tournaments. You can have tournaments from the games on skill gaming, for example, that we have on Stardome. And you know, in future, when we are pushing up the development of Nightclaws, we can also have competitions there as well. And obviously our other upcoming games, which we have been actually not looking at them. We've been also looking at on Ethernova, etc., and all that to be implemented as well. So that's KDArena. I think it's a really interesting concept. In terms of the KYC, that's something that we sort of can't avoid. Not for the signups, but at least for the withdrawals of your earnings. That's one thing that's for sure. For example, in certain countries, if you're below 16 years old, you're not allowed to participate in tournaments to earn money. Certain countries, it goes up to like 18 years old. As Terry mentioned, certain countries might view it as gambling. Obviously, we will work with our legal team to sort of make sure that we don't get anybody on the wrong side of the law in terms of how we proceed with things with KDArena and your games.
Hey, Josh,
that's going to be
Josh, can I add one thing? So again, we have to check with legal and various jurisdictions. But part of the reason why we're creating the automatic KDArena wallet is because, just like Josh said, let's say you are hypothetically 13, 14 years old, and you're not allowed to technically play for money until you're 18, let's say in certain countries, in most countries, right? Then technically all your winnings are in the wallet and on the blockchain. And basically, when you're able to KYC, improve your age, hypothetically, then it becomes yours. It's I'm kind of viewing it like if your parents ever bought you a savings bond or something, you can go ahead and do that. And now I believe it can only be one way. So we won't, if you're underage, then we wouldn't allow things to be taken out of that wallet because then they could view that as, oh, you're paying to play or you're losing. But if it's only accruing, it may depending on the country, it may not be viewed as gambling, and that you're just basically taking your winnings out once you become of legal age. But again, that's for the lawyers to decide. But that is a very interesting way we can also take a look at it.
Yeah, and there's also an opportunity to sort of use your funds without withdrawing them, for example, and this is where the integrations with everything else that we are doing sort of work, sort of gel together in sort of synergistic, in the sense where you're not withdrawing cash if you are purchasing Mobile Legends diamonds on KDArena. So because Mobile Legends diamonds, you'll straight away use them in game, you can't cash them out. So that's another way to sort of view it as well. While it's really on the gray lines, there's no laws against it for now. So there are a few ways for you, for those who are not, whether of age or in countries that are restricted, to be able to still profit in some ways or another from their earnings and gains from KDArena. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much, we've covered quite a bit in terms of the updates. I think there's about 15 minutes left. Maybe leave it open for some questions if anybody has. I'll also check the chat to see if there's any questions there. If anybody has a question, just please jump in.
Hey Josh, there was a question by Matt Diaz. Can devs add a mail reminder one day before diamonds expire on Silverville?
Okay, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Let me see who's on the chat right now. I'll put that as a note. That's a very good point. But also at the same time, we want you guys to pay attention, right? we want to burn those diamonds, but I get it. We definitely can. Does anybody else have a question? Cute cat, by the way, Terry.
Oh, thanks.
Hi. Hi, Josh. Hi, Terry. Thank you very much for your presentation. Ronan here.
Hey, Ronan.
I couldn't be present in the first 7 to 10 minutes. I don't know if a date was released for the KDArena beta.
So the public launch, we have not set a date yet because we're waiting sort of the results for the beta. For the beta, actually, I'll let Terry answer this.
Yeah, so we were gonna do it. We were gonna do it earlier, but without the wallet integration. But then we decided it doesn't really make sense to. So we decided to go ahead, put that layer in, and then we thought about more. So like if you just wanted to register and create your profile, put your profile picture in and your socials, that's done now. But it doesn't really bring too much. It doesn't bring any utility to anything. It doesn't really help. So we wanted to put some more functionality while we're building, so that we can at least during the beta and pre-registration, we can at least start getting people to build a social community system by being able to make your teams and starting that. So give me this week to figure out how much more we have to do to get all of that ready, and then I'll give a date as far as when I think the beta will be able to, and the registration to launch, and then we'll have people start pre-registering. The other thing we need to figure out too, at this point is, and I'll discuss this with Josh, is figuring out on what server it's going to live on, because I think that's going to be an important question, is what jurisdiction we're going to put this thing on. That's always been the tough thing. Just like Coinbase and everybody, it seems like jurisdictions are going after where your application is being hosted. So that's one of the things that we have to consider. So even if we're done, we need to figure out where it's going to live, so that we have the most freedom as far as access is concerned, from a jurisdiction standpoint.
Yeah, and it's not just related to crypto; it's also related to data management. So, for example, if we want to be in Europe, there are certain restrictions because of GDPR in terms of where we host and how we host it. So there's that. But I mean,
and just to speak on that, what makes it more complicated is as Josh mentioned, it's not even where you have the complication of where it's hosted, but the way the laws apply is based on who is accessing it. So we could technically have the server on. We can technically have the server on. What do you call it? In a place where the jurisdiction is very free. But if a person, for example, from Europe decides to access the site, then even though our server is not in Europe, we're subject to European laws. Same thing with California. We deal with this all the time in the United States. California has some strict privacy laws. It doesn't matter that we're not in California, but if one person in California is able to access our site, then you're subject to all those laws. So, as we said from the get-go, we always want to be legit. We always want to, follow the rules, and hopefully we'll get some more clarity. Hopefully the Coinbase lawsuit against the SEC, I don't know how many more days they have before they have to answer them. I think they gave them 10 business days. We'll start hearing some clarity, but it's a hot political topic, at least here.
Yeah. At the same time, we're doing everything in parallel. So, and in terms of as Terry mentioned, we do want to come up with certain utilities so that once we sort of launch that beta, there's a few things that we can sort of do from the social side, creating your teams, your roster, and also sort of starting to organize mini tournaments there. What I would say, a safe date for a really early beta version would be in June. And Terry, don't kill me. But I think that's possible.
No, I mean the original beta was just registration and profile pic and your socials, right? That's done, and we had talked about that. We were like, oh, let's launch. That's why the May 1st number came up. But then we were, kind of what's the point? Then it's just like a glorified form, right? But if you're able to connect your wallet, if you're able to see your KDA wallet, and you can transfer things to it, and then see the balances change, and then see it on the blockchain, see the numbers of cred holders go up, and then make your teams. Now that's exciting for it's a beta, but it's a working beta. So it's not just, hey, test this out, and then we're using fake data. We're able to test it and use real data, and that's what we wanted to do. Otherwise, we're no different than a lot of the other projects that just have like a cool animated trailer and banner and saying coming soon. So I started to put some things. I put 2 screen captures. You can. I'll start to share more of the development. It's just that the way development works is when we go ahead and create the site, it's not designed, so it kind of looks kind of nasty. You only see just buttons and fields. But once we skinned it is when I like to share it. But if the community wants to see the skeleton as we're building it, I'll share it. But it's not gonna look good.
Terry, can I ask one thing? So with Web3, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So with Web3, I think that we are all hoping that the Genesis SFTs and the SFTs that we are getting with for the PFPs and all of them, they are going to worth money, right? So many of us have them on a ledger. So I was thinking, will a allowance wallet thing could be happening here? Because I understand that once we have our wallet in KDArena, everything is going to be connected with ecosystem. So Silvervault also, and then we have the staking, so we could use also that wallet for the staking. But if we want to connect our ledger and say that, for instance, the KDArena wallet address can be used as a front end, but without having our SFTs there, do you think that could be a way of using it, or you could?
Oh, that's an interesting point. So you're basically asking, can the KDA wallet, and I don't know if you were around when I was explaining this, that wallet address is going to be an ERC20 based protocol.
I heard that.
Now I wonder.
But my question
basically,
is, if you
can it be a proxy? Is what you're asking?
Yes, because I would connect my ledger to that wallet, right? So the wallet in KDArena would be my front wallet, but without the SFT. So I would have my credit there for spending, but for instance, I wouldn't have my JED for staking because it's on the ledger.
Okay, got it. So
I can answer that really quickly if you want.
Yeah, go. If I understand him correctly, without KYC, without KYC and without even having the private keys, you're allowed to send stuff to the KDA.
No, it's not. It's not that I'm trying to.
Oh, go ahead, Josh.
I get what he's saying. So pretty much with this case, when you're using the ledger, you'll have to take the approach of having MetaMask as the intermediary. So when you sign up for KDArena, you've got two options. You can use the assigned wallet that we provide you, or you can connect an existing wallet right now. Well, we have not put the function or worked on the function for ledger yet. You are able to import your ledger to MetaMask, right? So you can use, this is what I do as well. Like I have my ledger and then I import it to MetaMask and I connect to the various dApps out there. All I need to do is pretty much works the same. I connect my MetaMask. When I want to sign in, I need to put in the passcode that's on my ledger and then only I can sign in. And then it would read what's on your ledger, but through MetaMask, if you get what I mean. So basically that would be the step for now. And then we will integrate Trust Wallet, and then Ledger will be the next step itself, so that you don't have that intermediary. But in the meantime, like on day one for the beta, you'll be able to connect your Ledger through MetaMask.
Yeah, but do you know the concept of warm wallet, cold wallet? So there is a platform. I don't want to, how do you say? But it's just a platform. So I have one wallet that is my burn wallet, and I have NFTs that I can use to play the game. So my NFTs are in my ledger, but I can use my MetaMask or my Trust Wallet address and connect that wallet, and it reads that I have my NFTs that are in my wallet in the ledger. So I use warm platform to do that. So
exactly. So that's exactly, it will work exactly the same way as that.
Okay. So because that is very good for us that already have some SFTs and NFTs that are.
And then and that's one of the reasons why sort of, in parallel while we're building KDArena, myself, I'm working on the upgrades on Agora, because once all the utilities sort of come into place and you can connect your Genesis Mint or your PFPs to the various utilities we will have, and people are actually using our platform and our utilities, especially KDArena. This is when the PFPs and Genesis Mint will start to have real value. And this is why we want to straight away have the option to be able to sell your SFTs if you want to sell them in case you're not using them actively for any of these utilities.
And will that, because you said that even if we don't use it as much, because we can have more than one of each, can we rent them? Because
yes.
if we had a wallet like that, I could say this wallet is connected to this FFT, so anyone can use it. The wallet, it's in blank, but it's connected to that SFTs, and so I could rent my SFTs to the ones that to people that don't own any, but
Correct.
But want to use our platform.
Correct. So so together with the sale function, I mean, basically in code, it's sort of it's considered temporary sale, but for us, for ease of communication, is sort of a rental sort of process. You will be able to sell to somebody that NFT for a certain price for a certain length of time, and then it will come back to your wallet, and then you can rent it back again. So that function will be out together with the sale function as well.
Nice. I'm very excited with everything that I heard. So, thank you.
Yes, it's going to be fun.
Your word.
No, thanks, Ruin, for your support. Does anybody else have any questions? We sort of passed the time, but I can take one or two more questions if there's any. If not, we can just end it here. I'm gonna use. I'm really into the whole AI space right now. If anybody of you are in social media, whether in LinkedIn, actually I just started today on Twitter, to automate a lot of my social work, because I don't really have time to be on social media, and it does make a huge difference in terms of like how people are aware of our project. I will share with you guys some of the tools that I use so that you guys can see how to automate your social media as well. It's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. What I'm going to do is, with the recording that we have, I'm going to use GPT as well to sort of give a nice, good summary on what we talked about. See if it comes up with something good.
Oh, hey, Josh. First, before I go into this, are there any other questions from the community first? Going once, going twice. Sold.
Yeah.
No. So I did want to talk to the community about AI. Obviously, when we started, I used the hashtag, not AI generated, obviously for our NFTs and the art that we were creating. And I was very proud of that, and still am very proud of that. But one of the things that we have to look to the future, and we have to basically run with it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in the crypto space, right? We would still be using weights and actual pieces of metal to trade things. So I would like to just say, as far as the team kind of knew even before we did the NFTs that AI was going to be the next revolutionary thing. So so that's part of the reason why we're stressing AI, and what Josh had said as well. But one of the things that I just wanted to stress is that AI is just a tool, and if you're a creator, AI isn't going to necessarily replace creative. It may affect those who are actually doing specific things, but AI will give creators the opportunity to actually be able to create. So that's something that I'm really excited about. We're no longer shackled. So if people in the community are like, I had this great idea, I wish I had something, a poster or an image to convey my idea, before you either had to learn how to draw or be able to draw or find someone, what AI allows you to do is give you that skill set. So we as a development team are going to embrace AI, and being able to draw, and like we went ahead and demonstrated in our NFTs the talent that we have. We would just be we have the ability to make the AI art even better, because we would have the ability to manipulate, to draw over, to combine, to subtract. So I just wanted to let everyone know that we will be using AI, but I can assure the community that we won't just take an AI piece and just put it up. Our talented team will supplement our skills with AI to make even a better product that AI can generate. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, that's really a good point. I mean, since we're on AI, we can talk about it a bit. And everything we do is sort of with intention, right? So like the comic book, for example, that we're sort of doing is just to have like some sort of fun activity to have together, to build a comic book together. I think that brings a sort of real sense of accomplishment to see individual work coming together. But it's also us, as we do it, really try to understand and push the limits of AI and see like what can we actually do with it. Can we build a comic book with it? Obviously, as we've all learned and through this process, it's still a long way there, but it's us really deep diving into it so that we can implement with all the utilities that we're sort of building. I mean, a few things, right? Even trading, for example, one of the BetForge is actually really a first step, because we're using BetForge to sort of analyze new tokens or trending tokens and sort of bet against it. What we are doing is also teaching a mix of both machine learning and AI, sort of teach it how to really trade and understand market and understand data for us to push forward and see how we can leverage it for ourselves as a project. AI to sort of help our users and communities trade better. Obviously, non-financial advice, everybody makes mistakes, including especially AI. That's one of the components that we can look at. Other things that we're going to work on with Terry as well is with the future of KDArena is in terms of like, using computer vision to sort of understanding games so that it can provide instant highlights and commentary and create social content immediately from there on our socials based on matches, so that we don't have to have, especially when we reach to a point where we have like 1,000 matches per day, how do we create content there? So AI is going to be really helpful there in that sense. And like, we're doing some interesting stuff, as in also playing with, VTubers, whether it's humans behind them or AI behind them. So a lot of interesting concepts and a lot of really interesting things that we can really do with AI. I've been sort of out of coding for a really long time, but it sort of jumped back into this one because of all the staking platforms that we are coming out. And obviously we are a lean team, so everybody is sort of hands-on there. But two is really pushing the limits of what we have right now with language models, whether it's with GPT or any other that's going to come out, like Bard, for example. It's going to be really interesting what we can see and what we can do with the future with AI. So as Terry said, it is a tool. Even me, when I automate all my posts, 90% of it is really crap. Some of them I have to edit them because it's too crappy. But when we are fighting against social media algorithms that like sort of tell us like, hey, you need to put out this X amount of content to sort of be on top of the list of being viewed by others, it doesn't give us much of a choice, right? It's quantity over quality, but obviously we as the users have to make sure that there's a certain amount of QC there as well.
Yeah, and AI is being used now. I mean, if you have an iPhone, editing happens, right? Once in a while you'll get this little notification that says, hey, we put together a little video based on your videos and photos about this particular event, and you didn't have to do anything and edit it. So AI is being used currently. For example, Disney owns ESPN, and they have an algorithm based on, and again, this is why we're in the gaming space. Gaming is going to take over everything. Right now, people are comic book superhero fatigue. However, gaming properties. That's why Microsoft, thank God, they didn't end up acquiring Activision. But that's why a lot of these companies are acquiring gaming companies, because one, they want the intellectual property to make movies, but they also want the technology. So, for example, ESPN was toying around with using AI to go ahead and control, live broadcast cutting. So instead of having someone say, hey, go to this shot, go to this camera, go to that camera, they're using NBA 2K algorithms. From my understanding, is the game itself already knows what's exciting. There's no executive producer in NBA 2K in the game saying, hey, go to this shot, go to that shot. So they're feeding all the things, just like in the game, to this AI, and it's deciding in real time what to cut to. And whether we know it or not, AI is being used. It's just people are having more backlash now, because now they're finally understanding, oh, then what happens to the 20 people in the broadcast room? Now they're replaced by 3 people. So that's the reality of it. But just like, why are we in this space? Because we want to be ahead of things, and that's what we're trying to be as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Terry. All right, cool. So we're sort of 10 minutes from time. I think there's no more questions. Obviously, we are around, so you can post as many questions you can on the chat or to our community mods, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Thanks, Ronin. And Joe, thanks for setting this up. And we will speak to you guys soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Terry. And thank you, Joe. It's nice to hear your voice and reading what you write.
Thanks, man. All right. Cheers, everyone. Thank you so much.